Hi everybody. Today I'm going to be teaching a yoga class for beginners. So if you've been looking on my feed and seeing all the classes that I've posted and just wishing that there was one that was a little bit easier and more broken down, your wish has come true. So this is beginners yoga. I tuned it to the playlist Together at Home for Beginners, which you can find on my Spotify. And I'm going to start that right now. I'm listening in my earbud while I'm teaching you. So go ahead and start that music. Make your way onto your mats. And we'll just meet together in a seated position here. It's just a cross-legged seat. If you feel like your hips are on the tight side and your knees are all the way up here, maybe sitting on a block. If you have one, and if you don't, you can always just roll up the top of your yoga mat to make a little ledge for yourself. But we'll start here with the hands on the lap and the eyes gently closed. Beginning to find a deeper breath. In yoga, we use what is called the Ujjayi breath. And in Sanskrit, the word Ujjayi means victorious. And the reason it's called the victorious breath is because the breath will eventually take precedence over the thought forms of the mind. And that is the goal of yoga. To just step out of your heads for an hour or so. In this case, we're going to do 45 minutes. And be with your breath and feel your body. So for the next 5 breaths here, I want you to take all of your inhales and exhales through the nose. And just see if you can make this breath a little bit louder than what you do naturally. Almost has a white noise type of quality. Bring your hands to your heart. Set an intention for your practice today. So an intention can be anything from a dedication to someone or something, or a goal you set for yourself, but just something that we want to return back to when the practice gets tough, when you feel impatient. You can just remind yourselves of this intention. And whenever you have set your intention, let's meet together in tabletop pose on the hands and the knees. So we'll bring the hands under the shoulders here and the knees under the hips. And I'm just going to shift my computer screen a little bit so that you can really see everything. In tabletop pose, drop your belly towards the floor and lift your chest up. This is an inhale. This is cow pose. And then as you exhale, you'll go the opposite way. So pushing down through the palms, rounding the back. Inhale, drop your belly down, open your chest up, lifting your tailbone, finding a back bend. And exhale, belly away from the ground, straighten your arms, let your head drop. We'll do this a few more times, letting your inhalation bring you to a back bend position. Letting your exhale take you to a nice round back position. One more time, inhale to cow pose, the open chest. And exhale to cat pose. Let the head drop here. And then with your next inhalation, just find a nice flat back position. Take your big toes together and send your knees nice and wide to come into child's pose. Your hips will shift all the way back to your heels. You'll rest your forehead on the mat. You guys just stay there for a moment and notice the stretch in your low back, your hips, and even if you're in your shoulders. So some of you might realize that you can't get your forehead to the ground or you can't get your elbows to the ground. That's okay. Just let it hang there. You can even make like a pillow with your hands for your head so that it's more comfortable for you. This is a resting position in yoga, this child's pose. You can come back here at any point throughout our practice together today. But for now, we're going to lift back up onto all fours. And this time I want you to walk your knees back quite a bit. And with your knees back a little more, try to pull your tailbone in. So kind of thrusting your hips forward. This is a modified plank pose. You can stay here. I'm sure you feel your core muscles working right here. Or you can tuck your toes and lift your knees to find the full plank position, which is just like a push-up. From here or from your knees, bend your elbows back and lower yourselves all the way down onto your bellies. Once you get there, point your toes so that the tops of your feet are flat on the floor and push into your hands for cobra pose. So some people's cobra looks like this. Some people can straighten their arms all the way. You do not want to feel cobra so much in your lower back. So straightening the arms really cranks into your lower back. Then maybe take more of a bent elbow cobra. And we'll lower the chest all the way down, everybody. Coming up through hands and knees, tuck your toes under and lift your hips up to find downward dog. So funny enough, this is also a resting pose, although it sure doesn't feel like one these first few times. Some of the key tips that I have for you in downward dog are to spread your fingers and really push down through your palms. And as much as you're using your arms here, try to really use your legs too. So the heels back and the hips up. If you can, walk your feet all the way to your hands. I know some people can't do that. And if that's you, you can come to kneeling and just step your feet up. We'll meet together in Uttanasana, which is a standing forward fold. So just hang your head over your legs here. Grab your opposite elbows. Maybe even add a little side to side sway if that feels good. We'll take 5 breaths here. Don't hesitate to bend your knees a little bit more if this is kind of rough on the legs. And whenever you're ready, drop your fingertips towards the floor. Take a deep bend in your knees and allow yourselves to just roll up really nice and slow. Stretching your arms overhead when you get there. And then moving the hands together in prayer and moving the big toes together to touch. This is our Samastitihi, our equal standing pose. Lower your arms down at your sides. And inhale, stretch them all the way up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Ardha Uttanasana, the half forward fold. Bring your hands to your shins. Get some length in your spine. And then bring your hands to the ground here and take a long step back with your left foot. Lowering that left knee down to the earth, finding a low lunge. So the right knee bends forward, arms lift overhead. We'll take 5 breaths here, everybody. So finding that Ujjayi breathing, feeling that stretch in the front edge of that left thigh. Please place your hands down around your right foot. Lift your left knee up behind you. We'll keep that left hand grounded on the inside of the right foot And stretch the right fingertips straight on up towards the sky. Should feel a nice opening in your chest and in the outer right thigh. Let's place the right hand back down to the ground and try for just one swift step forward. If you need to take more than that, okay. We'll come up halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot now to the back of your mat and lower that right knee down. Low lunge, arms lift high. If your right knee bothers you on the mat, first try to inch it back a little bit so that it's not your right kneecap digging down, it's more your right thigh. And if that doesn't work, you could always place a towel underneath your right knee. But now let's bring the right hand to the ground and lift the right knee, turning the chest open to the left. Bring your left hand to the ground, step your right foot on forward, and inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms overhead as you inhale, try to keep those legs straight and strong. And then move your hands to your heart as you exhale. Okay, good. So that's one way to do it. We'll do that same sequence again in the Vinyasa format, which is a little more tiring. So get ready. We're going to circle those arms up overhead as you inhale and fold forward as you exhale. Take it to that halfway lift, and then placing your hands to the ground, we'll step into plank pose. And from here, or remember, you can always lower your knees. Chaturanga. What? Bend your elbows straight back towards your ribs. Come all the way onto your bellies. And when you get there, point your toes. Lift for your cobra, whatever that looks like. And either through hands and knees or just straight from your belly, lift up and press back to downward dog. When you get to down dog, walk your feet a little closer together. And as you inhale, lift that right leg up high. As you exhale, try to use some momentum from that to step your right foot forward between your hands. Now, if it doesn't make it that whole way, use your right hand to bring your right foot where you want it to go. And lower your left knee, coming back to that low lunge, that Anjaneyasana. Arms overhead. Left hand to the ground, just like before. Lift the left knee. Open your chest up to the right. And now place your right hand to the floor. It could come inside or outside your right foot, whichever way is easier to step back. Plank pose from here or from your knees. Chaturanga. Point your toes back. Lift your chest up, cobra. And then pull your toes under and return to your down dog. Big toes come a little closer together. Stretch that left leg up and back. And step your left foot forward. Remember, you can use that left hand to bring it where you need it to go. Drop your right knee down. Low lunge, arms overhead. Lower your right hand down to the floor, lifting the right knee open, chest to the left. Place your left hand down, outside or inside your foot. Step it back to find plank pose. And from plank or from your knees, chaturanga again. Chaturanga is that push-up. Point your toes, lift your chest. I'm just going to show you guys something else. You can stay in cobra, or you could try something a little more challenging. Pushing down through the tops of the feet so hard that the thighs lift. This is upward dog. Wherever you took it, we'll make our way into downward dog. Make sure you're making that transition from cobra to down dog happen from your belly and not from your low back. We'll hold here in down dog for 5 deep breaths. Remember that you could come into child's pose. But if you want to get used to down dog, you have to practice it. So with the palms planted firmly into the mat and the fingertips pointed forward, imagine as if you were spinning the eyes of your elbows towards the front of your broom. Wrap your upper arms in towards the midline and squeeze those arms straighter. Take your gaze up between your hands. Feel free to walk your feet forward, or you could bend your knees and jump your feet forward. Half forward fold as you inhale. Exhale, fold. Reach your arms up and breathe in. Hands to your heart as you exhale. Great job, you guys. Let's come into chair pose. This is a staple. So bend your knees. If you can reach, graze the ground beside your feet. Keep your hips that low and reach your arms up again. In chair pose, have your weight primarily in your heels. Try to also have a nice lift in your chest. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, straighten your legs and fold forward. Let's try it again. Bend your knees. Lift your arms up as you inhale, really linking the breath and the movement together. Exhale, fold forward. Last time, bend the knees, arms lift up as you inhale. This time as you exhale, just straighten your legs, bring your hands to your heart. Okay, standing on your left foot. Just feel that strong sense of grounded energy from the four corners of your left foot down. And bring your right foot in and up for tree pose. So I like to use my hand, really get it up to the inner upper edge of my left thigh. And then it usually stays there. But if it doesn't, you know to move the right foot to the inner left shin. What we don't want to do is rest the foot on the knee joint. So as long as you're not there, you're probably good. Press your right knee back. If your balance is a little wobbly, you just keep your hands at your heart. If your balance is okay, you can reach those arms all the way up. Please lower your arms down at your sides and set your right foot to the floor next to your left foot. Finding that strong sense of rooted energy through the right foot, bend your left knee in and up as high as you can get it and keep it. Hands to the heart. Maybe the arms lift. Gently lower your arms down at your sides and set your left foot to the floor next to your right foot. We're going to take a wide-legged stance facing the right side edge of your mat. So step your right foot back. All 10 toes will point towards the long edge of your mat. And you're even going to turn your toes in a little bit here so that the feet are really parallel. Move your hands onto your hips, squeeze your elbows back, and as you inhale, just lift your chest up. Now as you exhale, bring your hands to the ground right underneath your shoulders and fold. You want your elbows to eventually bend back at 90 degrees. Eventually the crown of the head will come to the floor. Try to shift your weight forward a little bit towards your toes and take 3 more breaths. As you inhale, come up halfway. We do this a lot in yoga, this half forward fold. And keeping your back flat, just move your hands onto your hips, push through your legs, lead with your chest and rise all the way back up to standing. Open your arms out so that your arms are parallel to the ground. Turn your right toes open towards the back of your mat and bend your right knee for warrior 2. So I know you can't see my right leg very well here. But my right knee is bent straight over my right heel, and it's actually pointed slightly to the right. Shoulders are over the hips. Left leg is strong. I'm really pushing into the outside edge of my left foot. We'll take 3 more breaths here in Warrior Two. Keep your arms where they are. And inhale. Stretch your right leg straight. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left toes out. Same pose on the second side. Let's bend that left knee. Really make your footprints here into the mat. Cut your left butt underneath you and tighten your core. Soft, steady gaze over your left fingertips. Squeeze your left leg straight now. Turn your left toes in again. And clasp your hands behind your back. So if you can't interlace your fingers and straighten your arms, I suggest grabbing a towel or a strap that you can hang on to with both hands. Wherever you are, we're folding forward and just reaching. Arms overhead. Trying to keep the legs straight and the low belly toned. Pushing down through the legs. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Open your arms and just bring your feet and your hands together at the top of the mat. Exhale. Okay, we're going to take it through a sun salutation. As you inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold. Coming up halfway, inhale. Step back, or if you'd like to try, you can jump back to chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back into downward dog. Pause here. Find those strong arms. Try to lift your sit bones up towards the ceiling as you press your heels down. We'll lower to the hands and knees, so finding that tabletop position again. Go ahead and reach your right arm up towards the sky. Open your chest up to the right. And then wrap the right arm under the left arm. Bring your right cheek to the ground, or if you can't reach the ground, place a block or a pillow underneath your right cheek. Just feel that nice stretch in the back side of that right shoulder. Push down through that left hand to bring yourselves back up to table. And reach your left fingertips up towards the sky. Wrapping the left arm under the right arm. Lower your left cheek to the ground. Try to roll your left hip back a little. And again, we'll push into the right palm just to weave ourselves back through to tabletop position. Now this time, you guys, just swinging the legs forward. Place your feet out in front of you and scoot your butts forward a little bit. Keep your hands behind your back and bring your calves parallel to the ground. Legs together, boat pose. So if you're doing this right, you're gonna feel your core even right here. If it feels like you can go further, stretching the fingertips forward. If it doesn't, just keep those hands behind the back. Some people can straighten their legs. If you're getting a lot of hip flexor when you do that, better to keep the knees bent. Bring your hands back behind you. Bring your feet underneath your knees. Push into your hands, push into your feet, and lift your hips up, letting the head go all the way back if that feels okay for reverse tabletop pose. Exhale, slowly lower the sit bones. You can keep the hands where they are, lift the knees up. Maybe add those arms in. Stay tall for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1. We'll try it one more time. Hands behind you, feet beneath you. Push yourselves up, let your head drop. And lower your hips. One more time into boat pose. 4, 3, 2, good. On 1, just crossing the legs. Circle your arms up over your head. And drop your right fingertips to the floor outside of your right hip, stretching that left arm up and across. Inhale, bring the arms back out to the sides. Just switch the way your legs were crossed, and we'll dip it to the second side. The left hand, or maybe even the left forearm, comes down. Stretch the right arm up and across. Inhale, open the arms up. And exhale, roll over the shins, or maybe swivel them out to the side to step back into plank pose. We're going to roll to the right hand and the outside edge of the right foot. Most likely, you'll need to step that left foot to the floor in front of you before stretching that left arm up. Feel free to stay here or stack the feet for a full side plank. Good, let's place the left hand to the mat and come into down dog. Just stretching the arms out here for a second, maybe even taking a child's pose if that was tough. Come forward into plank. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Step your right foot in front of you. Reach your right arm up. And maybe you're able to stack that right foot over the left foot while keeping the bottom hip lifted, the bottom arm strong. Place your right hand to the ground. Find your down dog or your child's pose. This time, let's walk the hands all the way back towards the toes. Bring your feet all the way together at the back of your mat and bend your knees for chair pose. So we've been here before. This time, bring your right hand to your hip and try to hook your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Bringing the palms together when you get there. Maybe even opening the arms. Left fingertips to the floor outside of the right foot. Right fingertips to the sky. Great. When you're ready, place your hands down in front of your feet. Gently push your legs straight. Wiggle your feet to hip width distance. And grab your big toes with the same 2 fingers you used to make a peace sign. Let your head drop. If you need to bend your knees here, that's fine. Worry more about getting length from the crown of the head down towards the ground beneath it. Release your fingertips back towards the floor. Wiggle your feet back together again and bend your knees for chair. Inhale, arms overhead. Move your hands to your heart and hook your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Keeping the palms together, opening the arms wide. Another variation, if this isn't working for you, would just be to take the right hand onto the left thigh and peel that left arm back. Wherever you are, gently release. Hands to the ground. Stretch the legs straight. Wiggle those feet to hip width distance. And this time we're going to step on the hands. So slide your palms under the soles of the feet and fold down again. Coming up halfway. walking back to down dog. We'll lift the right leg up high and bring the right knee all the way to the back of the right wrist. So we're setting up here for pigeon pose, which is a lot of people's favorite yoga pose. Come onto your forearms here and just relax. This pose hurts a lot. You know that you have tighter hips, and that's okay. At least you're here. Yoga helps. Bring your hands back down and just simply send your right leg back into down dog and lift your left leg up high. Moving the left knee to the back of the left wrist for pigeon on the second side. I apologize for my 2-year-old. That's all I have to say about that. Let's walk up onto the hands again and step straight back to downward dog. From here, we'll just walk the knees up to the top of the mat, meeting together in an upright kneeling position. Have your knees just a little bit wider than your hips and bring your hands onto your lower back. Try to squeeze your elbows in toward each other and push your hips forward. If it feels okay on your neck, let your head go all the way back. But if that doesn't feel good, just keep your chin up at your chest. Either way will work. Slowly roll up and just have a seat, bringing the hips to the heels. And I know for some people that it's nearly impossible to sit like this. So if that's you, you could just take tabletop position. But wherever you are, just close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. We're going to try that one again. This time I'm going to turn to, so that you can see me from the side view. So you stay put. I'm going to turn. I'm tucking my toes under, so my heels are lifted. Hands are on my low back. Squeeze your elbows in toward each other. Lift your chest up nice and high. Let your head go back. And if it's not too much, to grab your heels with your hands. That would be next, called camel pose. You do want to keep your hips over your knees, so if you feel like you reach back for your heels and now you're all the way over here, then you'll just keep your hands on your low back for support. We'll get a little momentum to lift up out of that situation. And again, we'll just take the hips to the heels and have a seat. Close your eyes. Just feel what's different. Hopefully now your hips are a little more open. Your back feels good. Your hamstrings have gotten a nice stretch. And whenever you're ready, you guys, will just swivel your legs around so that they're forward and straight. Take your arms over your head as you inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward. If you can't reach your feet, you have a couple of options. Towel or strap around the soles of the feet is great. If you don't have those things available to you, you just bend your knees, hold onto your feet, and fold inward. We'll take 5 breaths here. Slowly make your way up. soles of the feet together, knees open wide. Wrap your hands around your shins, and as you inhale, lift your chest nice and tall. As you exhale, fold forward. Slowly roll up here. Keep your legs in this shape and lower onto your forearms. Maybe let your head hang back for a moment. And whenever you're ready, just take yourselves gently onto your backs in this reclined butterfly pose, this Supta Baddha Konasana. Keep your left leg in this shape and bend your right knee in towards your chest. You can roll your ankle around. Sending the sole of your right foot next to the sole of your left foot, and keeping the right leg here as you bend that left knee in. And this time with that left knee bent up towards the chest, bend your right knee in as well. Knees together over the hips, arms come out wide to the sides. Just jog your knees slowly to the right. Using your belly muscles to lift your knees back up through center and drop them to the left. We'll bring the knees back up, wrap the arms around them, and let your legs go straight out in front of you. Arms fall down at the sides. Just close your eyes here and bring your breathing back to its natural pattern. The last 5 minutes of every yoga practice is set for Shavasana. Shavasana translates to corpse pose, and it is a position where we just truly let go of everything we've been hanging on to and rest with a clear mind and a calm body. So enjoy your Shavasana. Please let me know what you thought of the beginner's class. If you're able to, you can tip me on Venmo. My tag on Venmo is at yoga-jill. And I really appreciate you taking the time to practice with me today. Namaste, which means the light in me honors the light in you. See you next time, everyone.